Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so it's a therapy session. It's Sunday morning. I believe it's like February 19th. I think something like that. We got the All-Star game today in Utah. So yeah, I'm just trying to cope with my circumstance, trying to keep up with everything I got going on with all the different things that I like to do interest-wise, and then of course dealing with the circumstance in my life that was brought up by just not paying my bills on time, putting them off and things like that for the sake of what I've been doing, which is staying in isolation to myself while simultaneously trying to live off of shares that I've been hoarding of AMC for the last 2 years. Living as frugally as possible to assure that I didn't have to first leave the house to do anything, and second of all, have to sell out of my position at all. And with the help of my family and in that's a couple situations, I was able to make it this far. But my neglect and my comfort and the habits that I had to not pay the people that I owe, waiting for those shares to balloon, but still picking from them to eat away at the overall pot, it left me in a position to where, after a stock split with the share count, AMC did some stuff to kind of cut their price in half purposefully, and coupled with that, me not working and picking from it to smoke and eat, not getting any government assistance, it left me in a spot where I'm now being evicted with as little money as I've had in 3 years. It's like the worst time to be evicted because the shares are low and the price is cut. And all this time I've been sitting here holding these shares. The money has been in places to take care of my business. Could have had my car kept. If I would have taken some of the money that I ultimately ended up spending anyway, pulling away from it, I could have taken care of all of my business, still had the same amount of money, if not more. But I didn't do any of those things correctly. And as of today, the shares are not where they need to be. And of course, the money's not where it needs to be to get me out of the situation, to find myself another apartment. I ruined my credit with the situation as well, letting my car get taken, just neglecting things purposefully because I knew that I didn't need to do any of those things, because if AMC went to where it was supposed to go, I could throw money at all of those problems and fix it. Who needs credit if you're a millionaire? You just throw money at it. And so that was my plan. There was no plan for this not to work because the due diligence has been done. They haven't covered as far as the people who were short selling, and all these different things that we know about the AMC, GME, meme stock movement. As long as they haven't covered, the money's still on the way. Now, how much, how soon, undetermined, but more than enough to take care of what I got going on if I could just hold on to my shares until that day. When is that day? I was planning for that day to come sooner than later. We don't have a date. We don't know when that's going to happen. It could be tomorrow. It could be 30 years from now. I didn't plan for no 30 years from now. I planned for tomorrow, and that was the problem. Every day I've been waiting for this thing to pop without doing things that put myself in a position to be financially taken care of. I was doing things that could make me some money, but I wasn't promoting it, and I wasn't doing anything otherwise to put myself in the marketplace for reasons that are dear to me, but ultimately aren't going to help me eat. Things that I stand for that keep me from wanting to walk through certain doors where the people would otherwise be able to help my situation. Mental blockages that ultimately my mental health is put in my stead as well, or in my way, I guess you could say. It's obstacles that my mind puts in my way that doesn't allow me to walk through certain doors for reasons of principle and reasons of habit, if anything. Habit. Just used to not doing things the right way for a long, long time. And when that is the case, you do things that lead you down a path where you feel like you've put your best foot forward, but the execution of life is wrong. And then you start looking around and you realize you're running out of time. You're getting tired. Your body is exhausted. You don't have the energy you had 20 years ago or 10 years ago. You pull yourself out of certain holes that you may have found yourself in back then. You don't feel like you had that energy right now. It's harder now because you don't have some of the things that you otherwise wouldn't have let neglect because of how you were doing what it is you were doing. But my thing was, if I go back out there to work and do all the things that are necessary to keep my life going, I'm going to ultimately find myself in the same mindset that I was in when I was doing it last couple times. I look at my track record with work, and I realize that It's going to be difficult for me from this point after how things went with my last job and how things have gone with other positions. If you start looking around and start asking people about me, they're going to probably tell you that I worked pretty well for the most part, but then it's going to end. It ended funny, or it ended in a way that didn't end well. And usually there's a method to that. After working at a place for too long, I start losing my desire to be there, start losing my focus, start becoming uncomfortable or irritated, and I exit. And that's why it always ends wrong, because I always go through the same thing. I go there, I stay there, I do as much as I can, but I'm never happy. And as long as it lasts, it just feels like it's never going to end. And I start realizing I don't have any reason to do it. See, I always live alone. Everything I do is isolated when I come home. It's been that way for years, with the exception of maybe living with my mother back when she was alive. Never lived with anyone. And even during the time when I was living with her, it got to a point where I was staying alone at home. And in my early years of life, 13, 12 years old, I started being in isolation. I stopped going to school early in life and started being like this as a child. So now at 38 years old, trying to snap out of it, because you have to, coupled with the fact that you have all this stuff that you've been adding to it that makes your mental health even worse. Considering all that you've been waiting on, the anticipation of things popping and never does, considering things being not so good, but staying in them in these jobs, and ultimately not getting enough money to make it make any sense. It's just been a lot of that led up to this that ultimately makes it so that I'm in a space right now where I really don't know what I need to do for myself to help myself. What comes naturally to others to fix their problems, like pulling hair and teeth and everything else off of me. I just don't really know what the hell I'm doing. See, I knew how to fight the establishment. I knew how to look at things that I was good at and tell people how to fix the puzzles within those things. But a lot of this stuff required me to have stronger social skills, I guess you could say, or stronger interactional skills in person, stronger motivational skills as it pertains to looking for money and being hungry for employment. I've never desired employment. Never desired it. I understood the importance and the need of it, but my psychology, I didn't want to work for you. If I was working, I wanted to work on something creative, etc. And all these different wants seemed to spearhead my intentions because of the need to protect myself from certain traumas. So it wasn't just as simple as I want this, but I'll choose that. It was I want this, and it's like a helmet for things that may be falling on my head. So if I don't have this, the worst could possibly happen. So it's more like a need than a want in regards to keeping myself out of certain mindsets and situations and stresses and pressures. I handle stress. I take stress hard. I don't know that I handle it poorly all the time, because this last week I've handled my stress, I think, in a very good way, responding to everything that was in front of me. With the deadlines and the various things that had to be done, go here, go there. After being home for a whole year, I was told I had to do some things outside the house this week, and I went and handled all of them. With the exception of when I say year, my friend came and got me out of my house for my birthday back in August, but I hadn't left the house since but to throw the trash away. So this week was a rupture of my mindset, but a necessary one, because what's scarier than anxiety is the realities of circumstances. So you will face your anxiety to assure your reality isn't worse, but at the same time, it's like you're still facing your anxiety. And so I go through deep anxiety, but I have a good portion of my loved ones and friends that kind of understand that. So I guess they're a little more patient with me than maybe they would be if they thought I didn't have these issues. But, it's been a little frustrating, because I think God wanted me to go through this with minimal help. All the help that I was thinking would come my way for this particular situation, it just ain't, not in the form that I was expecting or demanding of others or what have you. Counting on, I guess is the word would be. But I was sitting here thinking that my family would come through with a certain amount, no questions asked. If for some reason things got bad, like if it got this bad, they know what I'm doing, they know what I've scheduled, what I've worked on over the last year and a half with my channel and things like that. You know what I mean? It was just a bad and poor assumption, thinking that if things got completely horrible, they would be able to give me something of some sort that would help me out. And I don't know that they're not, but it's just one of those situations where I realized this week was one of them weeks where I was like, yo, I need help. And this week it was like, well, yo, help yourself. And I was like, Okay, that's what it is. That's fair. You know, every man for himself. I'm used to being helped, but that help doesn't have to come. I still got to be able to find a way. I can't duck and run or be mad at people for not helping me, and when I've been helped by those same people many times. It gets to a point where people get tired of you and they're not close to you, so they don't know what you're going through. They think you're lying, potentially, because that's just natural. I gave you what earlier in the year and you ain't changed? You ain't go get help? You ain't do nothing? And it's like, no. No, I didn't. And for those who kind of been following my channel very closely for a long time, this is the type of mentality that I was trying to address when I was coming to the defense of Ben Simmons when they first said that he had mental health illnesses. And he was telling people he was sick, but he didn't feel like, he wasn't getting the responses if people believed him. It was a whole lot of, but if you're doing this, then you're obviously okay type stuff. And that's what I know because of how my situation is. I'm going to look that way. I'm going to look that way to a lot of people. Now, to people who follow this channel, they're going to have a deeper understanding of who I am. They're probably going to tell people, nah, if you watch his therapy sessions, you'll understand what he's dealing with. But for those who run into me, shake my hand to see me on the street, or if I walk into a courtroom, they're probably not going to see what needs to be seen in regards to my mental health. I'm not going in there spitting and spinning and not articulating myself. So it's kind of like, all right, are they going to believe me? Do I have a right to ask people to believe me? And then because of the way I was raised, do I even believe myself? Am I really this sick, or am I just choosing to do things because I believe I'm sick, leaving myself with the result of looking sick? But nevertheless, I struggle with the anxiety of it all. The pressure of it all makes it so that I don't choose the good decisions that ultimately save my situation a lot of the good time. I didn't protect myself from the inevitability of things going poorly, covering my backside. There was a reason for that, I think. And it had to do with the psychology of myself, what I was dealing with while I was making certain decisions, and what I thought of myself in regards to making those decisions. Those were the fuel. That was the fuel that ultimately pulled me into a space that ultimately looks like this. And even though I made some breakthroughs in my inner self to do certain things that need to be done to change my spirit so I can get back out there, I still haven't worked the habits and desires, plus my schedule of what I do with the lake of videos and this channel and the art and all of this. I've grown accustomed to wanting to continue it, and I've grown accustomed to being consistent, and I've grown accustomed to being able to do it in my way, and I choose that, but that situation is being ripped from me, and my natural inclination when my choices are not mine to choose is usually to consider quitting life, quitting the circumstance, walking away, stopping and being rebellious against whatever it is that would otherwise keep me from having my will. Initiating my own failure for my own comfort. It's the pattern I've been in for a long time. So if I can't get what I want, it's usually the solution is to leave. And as I've told you guys, every time I reach these points where things get so bad, chances are when I'm going through them, it's never the mindset that caused them. It's never the fear that caused them that's ultimately fueling me when the consequences come. It's usually something else. Now what's fueling me is the desire to keep doing what I'm doing. I've turned around and found out I've loved myself since. The prayer life, the channel, all these different things have turned me into somebody I can look in the mirror and say, I don't mind doing something decent for you. I don't mind seeing you succeed. I actually look at you and say you're an asset to the world, and I appreciate that you are starting to learn how to love the way that I would otherwise want you to start loving people and loving yourself. So it's like, now I don't want to see my own self in certain circumstances. But that would allow me to quit if for some reason it gets too much. I want to see myself succeed in fighting this, the pressure of whatever's in front of me, so I could see that person triumph, so I could see that person sheltered, so I could see that person continue doing the things that I'm proud of seeing him do. So when I started doing all of this, of course, I went in the mindset. I thought I loved me, but to a point. I love me to say I love you, and I'm going to help you get to a point where you'll have enough money to take care of yourself so you won't have to worry about getting out of your comfort zone to fix your problems every time. Like, that's how much I loved myself at the time. It was like, all right, I see the fruit in doing that, but I don't know how to do that. So we'll just want that for ourselves if we do the opposite. And it was just like a lot of that kind of stuff going on. It just doesn't help you at all. While you're sitting there trying to fight a good fight, you're fighting yourself even harder. And that's what it was. I was playing in the Citadel and Ken Griffin and all these guys who were manipulating the stock market's hands. When I talk about wanting to win in life, but not giving your enemies ammo. And the way that I was doing what I was doing, I was giving my enemies ammo. And understanding the fight that I'm in, they need my shares. I'm one of the original AMC apes. I had shares of AMC long before they, a day before they removed the buy button. So shares that I have could likely be real, could likely be the shares that they're searching the wide world for, trying to get out from under my pockets. That way they could effectively kill the squeeze if they could get all these real shares accounted for. Because as long as there's real shares in the world, all the synthetic shares stand out like a sore thumb when being looked at. Because they know they're fake, but you also know that the real ones are not in their possession. If they have the real shares in their possession, they can cover those shares. So they need what I have. That's essentially what I'm telling you. In theory. Didn't have to be that way. But the theory is they probably need what I have based on how long I've held them. So it's not as simple as me just selling out and getting my money and then doing what I need to do. Now I'm betraying my entire movement just by taking the money out of those places. And that's the part I can't seem to, that's when it becomes dangerous for me personally. Because I've been doing this, sacrificing this for 2 years. And I've gone without for 2 years in isolation. And I spent a good 7 years before that mourning my mother. You understand what I'm saying? And mourning other aspects of my life. So it's volatile at this point if this goes left for me as it pertains to my desire to, not even desire, but my mindset and where I'm at in regards to what I'm doing. It just becomes very volatile if I'm not holding on to those shares. Because it's the only thing I've been living for really these last couple of years. I've dedicated my whole life to the plan, to the process. I've prayed every day about it, was told to do certain things. And selling out of that position is not only betraying what it is that I prayed about, but it's also betraying what it is that I sacrificed. Even if it's necessary, none of this was necessary if not to do what I was doing. So if I don't see it all the way through, none of what I've done should have ever been done. That's the way I see it. And so this is where it becomes really tricky for me. How much do I want to keep this going as it pertains to what I believe in and the possibilities? And then there's the fear of this, as I've seen many times. Every time I sell out of something, things go up. And because of what it is I believe I know about myself spiritually and how things have gone, how I've been fighting against God knows all different types of things I've been praying against. And the way things have gone with my crypto and how it seems to just fly up as soon as I sell it, seems to dip as soon as I buy it. These are the type of things that help me stay in place despite it being bad for me physically, because I know the way this pattern is going, I might initiate the squeeze just by selling out of my position. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's how I feel I've been attacked spiritually by the circumstances I've been fighting against. It's like they are going to make it so that I don't succeed. That's what it feels like. It feels like the spiritual energy on the other end of what it is I'm battling will allow the squeeze to happen so long as I'm not a part of it. And that's how I feel. I feel that as soon as I sell out of them shares to save my ass, the squeeze is going to happen like the day after that or a couple of days after that or something. And it's like, because I believe that, it just makes me not want to give up my shares, even if it'll save my life. Just out of sheer defiance of what it is I'm involved in. I've been defiant since they moved the buy button. That was my purpose. If y'all go back and watch that video I made when they did that, I told y'all they birthed an AMC ape that day. I wasn't going to change. 2 years later, I faced all kinds of stuff. My money's gone higher than I've ever had it before in my life, including above what my mother's 401k was. Didn't sell a thing. Didn't buy myself as much as what I needed to get out of the situation when the money was up there, because that's how much I believed in it. So now that it's down here, and the share count ain't that much different. That's the funny thing, because they've done the stock split. So the share count that I had that had it up there, stock for stock, it ain't that much different than where it was then. And so I look at stuff like that, I'm like, man, so all I really need is the squeeze to still happen? Even now? Tomorrow the squeeze could happen and change my life for the betterment regardless of all I'm dealing with? And you want me to sell out that thing so that I could do what? Start the process of being a consumer again, a worker again with nothing? Starting from the bottom at 40, basically? See, that's what it becomes a situation. And then I look around, I'm like, all right, I'm used to being in isolation. So now I got to live with people for the first time at 40. You know what I mean? I'm not 20 years old. People ain't going to want to see me there. They're going to want me to work 12, 16 hours like I'm supposed to get out of their house, give them half of my money, You know what I mean? And slowly but surely build my way out of there if I'm lucky enough to even have that type of grace. Some people ain't gonna even give you that much time. So it's like, you really want me to go through this at 40, Lord? You serious? When I'm alone and I don't have much like at all. You just want me to do this to save my own hide? That's when it becomes a problem. Like, it's like, nah, I don't see no reason to do that. I'm doing this for me. And then I'm gonna sell out of it and leave myself broke. Like, completely, without any chance of this thing popping at all with me on it. So now I'm like actually down here. Like, nah, man. So this is where we're at. That's why I didn't really get on my channel yesterday, because I didn't have a whole lot of positivity to share. It's not that I don't believe that what I was doing was worthy. It's just that I didn't do it the right way, and now I got to deal with the consequences. I'm not wired for that type of stress. I ain't wired for the type of stress I created for myself. I'm not wired for it at all. I handle stress poorly. I was the very last person who should have been trying to take on the corruption of this world. But I wasn't letting my condition and my way of viewing the world keep me fearful from attacking what it is that ultimately was siphoning the world's economy from itself. Now, granted, they're not the only people who are siphoning from the world's economy. That's not the only major evil in the world. But it is one that I see is there, that is doing what it is that they're doing, that I can do something about. You see what I'm saying? It's the one that the Lord allowed me to be a part of. So who am I to walk away from it, especially when I've applied faith to it in regards to him, and he's been giving me nothing but blessings in regards to the situation. Now, where I went wrong in regards to how I was operating was from the jump. I was doing it wrong from the very beginning. I was doing it wrong from the beginning because I didn't have the money that I needed to invest in the very first place. The very first place. Forget AMC. I should not have had any money in the stock market when I was living the way that I was. I should have been trying to build some type of foundation for my credit. That's what I should have been doing, trying to fix my credit, get my credit card debt going. I wasn't doing things financially the right way. When I was dealing with that, I was dealing with bereavement. My niece had just passed away the night before, 2 nights before. So my mindset was just, I'm dabbling with stocks. I'm doing all this stuff. I'm working a job. Let me just get a couple AMC shares because I seen the GME went up and I didn't buy them when I should have. I could have bought them at $50. They ran up to $400. After having things like that happen, it's like, oh, so this is another one? Let me get in there. Let me see what I could do. I bought a couple of those with some money that I had involved in some crypto mining thing. You know, it was a crypto mining stock that I had that had ballooned a little bit, like doubled. And I was sitting on that feeling real good about it. So I sold that and bought AMC. And they removed the buy button the very next day. And so my thing is, I'm a real ape, man. I've been in this movie the whole time. I've seen them do all the kinds of stuff. I've been through 2 votes, including this one that I didn't vote on at all. Because I just did not want to get that close to all of this. I hold my shares. Whatever y'all going to do with it, y'all going to do with it regardless. My vote may count, it may not. If I don't get educated, I'm just voting for some stuff I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So something that's serious, I left it blank. But my thing is, I don't want to compromise the squeeze. It's another reason why I left it blank. I don't want to compromise the squeeze, but if they're going to send the thing to 60, I probably need them to do it. So whichever way they decide to go, I'm going to benefit from it. Because if they don't do it, it stays true to my principle. If they do it, they may kill the squeeze, put me in a position to take care of my finances. I don't want them to kill the squeeze for the betterment of me. But I can't necessarily say I know enough about the vote to be certain that I'm even talking the right way about it. So therefore, at the end of the day, I woke up this morning very thankful because I have a friend of mine, the same person who helped me find this apartment. She found a bunch of links for me in regards to mental health, stuff that I could apply for to see if it'll give me a chance to have the representative paperwork to prove that there's something wrong with my brain and how I've operated, and thus will need a little extra leeway or some type of help to get out of the situation, which is not something that everyone gets, which is not something that people who need often receive here in our country, in this state particularly. So as I'm aware of that even makes me more and more negative as it pertains to I may not get what I need, and then I'll be forced to face the real music about not having help, not being able to be qualified for what I need, and then being faced with what happens next. And I'm telling you guys, as much as I love doing what I do, I don't love the hill that I feel is in front of me that I must have to climb, only to find myself at the top of it, being too old and too tired and too washed to really do anything. You know what I mean? It's like, this is going to be at least 3 years to get myself out of this. And I don't want to give it 3 years. I really don't. I've given my mom's passing 5 years. I gave AMC 2.5 years. I don't want to give pulling myself out of the hole that AMC put me in another several years of my life. I just don't. Not that I'm not supposed to or that I can't. I just don't see the fruit. When you live alone, when you have isolation issues, I'm telling you, all I see is a tumble forward. That's only going to bring me more pain from this being a complete and utter failure. That's all I see. It's just more bitterness and no path to what it is I want, or rather need. So it's like, you got to understand. Then you start looking at it like your body. Like, all right, I'm going to be 40 something, and then the body goes downhill. I'm already having gas issues. I'm already having food issues. I'm already having skin issues. So it's like, where's it go from here? If I can't get no money and all I'm going to be taking on is stress, the body goes left. I don't have time to take care of it the way I've needed to. So it's going to really go left. Whatever's going on with the gastrointestinal issues, I'm not going to be able to offset it with the 1,500 sit-ups. Crunches what am I doing? Squats that I do on a daily. 1,500 squats. It's not 1,500, but it's like 1,200. And it's like, you do those about 5 times a week. Even if you have something wrong with you, you're still getting in better shape. But I don't have the time to be doing all that every day. I don't have time. Like, if I'm working a 9 to 5, just like the rest of y'all, I don't have time to be doing all that. I look at people like, people who are very wealthy and work out a lot. The two friends, Kevin Hart and The Rock, they got time to dedicate their lives to their fitness because they're wealthy as hell, man. They got time. They got the money to dedicate to everything that they need to be tip-top shape. If I had the money they had, I would be in tip-top shape because I have the type of motivation. But when you're living a 9 to 5 job, doing all this, you got to make money a certain way. They're only going to give you $5 for 30 years of your time. You ain't got time to stay in shape. Your body in the world that we're in is meant to deteriorate. You're either supposed to be too damn tired, or you better have some super genetics to be able to work a 16-hour job, 12-hour job, and then work out for 3 hours to make yourself look immaculate. It's damn near impossible. The food that you get, they don't even make it so that you can eat good food. You're working out hard as hell, then you're going to eat whatever's available to you affordably. You can't eat that way and then keep up with your body. It's working against yourself. And so it's just a lot of stuff that I realized, it's going to get worse for me if this damn thing don't squeeze, It's going to get a lot worse for me. And I'm not up for it. I'm tired and I'm alone. I don't see the fruit. If I had a little boy over here saying, we got to eat, I'd be like, all right, let's go. You going to school, I'm going to work, because it's a purpose. You are that purpose. I do all of this for you. I'm not just feeding myself. I'm not just sitting here looking around at a room full of blank walls and nothing, saying I'm working hard to keep this going. It's nothing. I don't need that shit. It's just a glorified coffin as far as I could tell. So that's how I feel like, man. That's exactly how I feel like. I'm loving what I'm doing, but I don't feel a whole lot of positivity as it pertains to my future. I really don't. Everything that I have to do is stressful for me. I don't handle stress well. Everything I've been dealing with, I've been doing for the right reasons. Nobody knows why or cares. Everything I've been doing in regards to my art, I'm really, really good at it. Nobody knows. It's just like, all right, man. The God wants me to do things on a small scale in the corner where nobody sees it, and then suffer really, really quietly in the sideline when nobody sees it. And then from there, I guess it's supposed to be what he wants it to be. And I just don't love the path that it looks like right now. I don't love what it looks like. I'm still trying to pray, but it's harder for me to turn to the positive aspects of my mindset when I'm too busy thinking about what I didn't do and why, what needs to be done and how I'm alone doing it. It's just hard to say, Lord, can you help these people and that people and these people and that people when I'm constantly stressed about my own stuff. It's a distraction from what it is my spirit's been doing, which is why I know it's somewhat of a spiritual attack, because I've been such a prayer warrior for so many people to now that I'm going through this, I can't seem to focus on the things I need to pray for. Even though I've been trying to be diligent in doing so. Took us a couple minutes last night before I went to sleep to say all the names on that list, because I've been using my showers to talk about the things that I'm dealing with and frustrated with, and asking the Lord to show me the way, and thanking him for people that have helped me throughout this process. It's like there are other people who don't know me who've been needing my prayers. I cannot be distracted. So it's that part of it too that keeps me sitting in this space where I'm like, I can't kill myself, because then I won't be around to pray for these people or be there for the people that love me. Even though I failed to be there for the people that love me just the same. This is really, really confusing. It's frustrating. It's painful. It's degrading when considering that I feel like I'm right. It's degrading when considering what all this looks like versus what it was, what I was thinking and what I was doing it. Versus what it was that I was talking about on this channel while I was doing it. It's degrading to look incompetent to have the results of you being incompetent, to have the history of you being incompetent, but then having no part of that being represented in what it is that you're trying to do and what you recognize in your self-awareness, any of that. And so that's what it is. I just had to get all that out. I didn't want to harbor that too much. I didn't want to come up here and give you more or less than what's there, you know. I'm very thankful that I have people that help me. I'm very thankful that I'm aware that there are other aspects of the situation that may not come my way that I was counting on. I'm thankful that I live in a state that there are some things to apply for. I think I've been in one of the better states for that, even though they might not get what I need. It's there to apply for. And I'm proud of myself for how I handled this week, as I've been recapping on all these various different therapy sessions. I've had a good week as it pertains to handling business and facing things that ultimately don't feel comfortable for me. And I'm in a space where they're not pulling me out of my apartment right now or giving me 3-day notices from the sheriffs right now because of everything that I forced myself to do under this type of duress, with this mental illness and with this isolation that I created for myself. You know, I'm thankful for my family that's helped me in the past, that got me this far. I'm not declaring that my family's not going to help me by making this video. I'm just telling you that the type of help I'm used to getting, the intensity of, okay, this is what you need to do. When I was a child, people trying to help me out. I don't think people want to look at me as no damn child no more. At 38 years old, I don't think that people want to treat me as a child, even though I'm used to being coddled like a baby. At the end of the day, my mom stopped being alive 7 years ago, and I needed to grow up and be exactly the 30-plus man that I was supposed to be, as opposed to the scarred and deflecting, constantly, you know, scared for something falling on his head, so to speak, type of child that I was at 31 years of age when she passed. I don't think I've grown a whole lot as a man since then, because I've been too busy thinking about what went wrong with her and what went wrong with me. I've grown in some areas, but not in the ways you need me to be in order to be that man for that woman. Nah, I didn't. It's another reason why I'm frustrated, is because, like, I don't see a path to me even becoming who I need to be for that. I might have other aspects straightened out, but the ones that allow you to be the best version there, I'm green, man. I don't even know how to live with nobody, let alone how to be a husband. So that's another reason why I'm pessimistic in regards to how I'm moving forward. It's like, move forward to what? To get used to what? Things that you've never been used to, things that you probably wouldn't be best at because you're just not wired to be. It's like, what am I preserving? A chance to continue to struggle in a life I don't know how to handle. Like, I'm not built for this world, it feels. Every time I think about the things I need to do to become better in this world or become more productive in this society, I realize I have to do things against my spirit. Things that compromise what I feel makes me a better human on the inside. So that's another reason why going forward sucks in my mind, because it's like, it might be to stay here to get worse. So I'm not reacting to what it takes to be in this space, which allows me to have my conscience intact, not take it from people or whatever. Even though I'm in the worst possible space for myself, I still don't think I've done anything wrong to anybody else. So it's like, all right, I can live with that. If I go lay my head down, at least I know I didn't trespass against my brother. But it's like, I don't know, it doesn't work. Even when you look at it that way, it doesn't work. You have to sin. You have to go out there and do this. You have to go out there and do that. And that's why we have so much blowback, I think, in regards to the negative things that come to us. People be in this type of accident, that type of accident, just because by sheer nature, you got to sin here in order to make it. So that sin going to require you to take back some punishment. So everybody here suffers something. Everybody in America suffers something because of the fact that you have to do evil just to be here. And that's how I look at it. It's exactly how I look at it. You got to do evil just to be here, man. Just to be here. These forefathers have coerced us into being just as bad as they are in some ways. And so what do? I continue to live my life because there are other places I could live. There are other places and lands that I can influence that'll be better than this one with my voice. Is that what my ambition is taking me? That I could be the all-world voice that could change the world for the better, and people will follow me for some reason, even though nobody knows what I'm doing. Yeah, nah, it don't work either. So I'm just sitting here like, look, I don't know how much time the Lord wants to give me. I've been working on my body to make sure I'm healthy, so I haven't been working in my favor in regards to wanting to expire. Doing a bunch of squats every day ain't exactly going to give you a heart attack. But at the end of the day, I'm tired, man. Yesterday, I was really, really tired for no reason. And when I say no reason, I mean, I had already gotten all the sleep that you would think I would need after being tired for the week. I got up, did what I had to do with art and eating and all that stuff yesterday. And I was just exhausted. I did a little bit of exercise with the heavy weights, but I didn't have any energy for nothing. And I slept and slept and slept after, and then woke up, watched the All-Star stuff, and slept some more. And I just realized this is not normal. It doesn't feel like I'm consciously going into depressive sleep, but I feel like my body is just drained of the stress that I'm facing, and it doesn't want to give me the energy to move. And I got a lot of stuff to do, including probably move. It's more than likely if I get an extension, I'll still have to leave. So it's like the stress of this just makes me not want to do anything at all. It's like, look for an apartment for what? You ain't gonna find nothing. You have no credit. You got no job. Who the hell's gonna? And this situation went left. Who the hell's gonna give you the apartment? Like, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to get a job, given the fact how things went. I know nobody's gonna give me an apartment, least of all an affordable one. So it's like these type of things just run you straight into a place where you're like, God, if you don't show me something, bro, you're gonna be seeing me soon, because ain't nothing left. What is there? If I can't do what I love to do because I'm too busy working, doing something I hate, that's ultimately just going to give me an expiration date on that, because I'm only going to be there for so long until I lose my mind. That's how it goes. Already damn near in my 40s, so it's like whatever the heck is going forward, already been said, ain't going to be no better for me. And then what I'm used to makes it so that I can't get better. It's just like, what are we doing, fam? What are we doing? That's what it comes down to. It's like, I'm not trying to be a worse guy or turn from God to fix myself, because that defeats the purpose of what it is I've been here doing for the last 38 years. I'm trying to stay away from that. If it was just going to turn to that anyway, I might as well have started that when I was a child and made myself a billionaire by now. Or worse. At the end of the day, I don't see no purpose other than the purpose I've been engaging in, which has an expiration date, as I said. And do my channel until I can't no more. I got the money that came from the Metro people, Dish Network, I guess the parent company of all of that. The check said Dish Network, whatever. They finally paid me my money when I needed it the most. But then I realized that money's going right back in their pocket, because I got 2 installments of $115 to pay because of the situation with T-Mobile. So it's like, I know they all are in cahoots with one another. Money goes out of their hand after 6 months of waiting for it, and half of it goes back in their hands just because of the sheer nature of the corruption involved with their businesses. $81 bill is supposed to be $250 because of all the extra charges that they've tacked on. It's just, this is the world I'm in, man. You wait 6 months for $600 and turn it into $300 for the same company in 3 days. Same company get the money back in 3 days. Like, this is the corruption I'm fighting against. This is exactly what I'm fighting against. Only thing they've offered me was the same service that would have cost me $81 if they not have did all that extra. Just because I was broke, they made me even more broke. Like, it's a wonderful thing that they do. And then when you have a lot of money, you can make a lot of money too. Because when I had a lot of money in my EMC account and it was going up, that thing was tripling, quadrupling the initial investment like crazy. The more you have, the more you make. The less you have, the more they take. That is the formula. And so it's like, you want me to continue to pay into this. You want me to continue to build and relay children toward this and all of this stuff. Like, let's have some more kids so they continue to be consumers like this. The more you make, the more you get. The more they take, the less you have, etc. Go out there and put yourself in a position to go to jail, because if you black, chances are you're going after the money. You either going to have to kiss their feet or fall into their prison trap. It's one or the other. And I'm just like, man, if God going to let them do this, he's going to have to forgive some of us for exiting. He's going to have to forgive some of us. If you're going to let the world be this way and you're going to wire people like me, you got to know I ain't going to get a full 40 out of this. I ain't going to want to. It ain't even about whether or not I survive. I'm going to look around and say, this ain't worth it. That's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what's happening. Like, you want me to pull myself out of what to get to what? Did I get there and then I'm unhappy there? I do that, then I'm unhappy there. I do this and I don't have enough there, and people looking at me like I don't have enough. You ain't doing enough. And I'm supposed to be okay with that because everybody around me is okay with that because we're all rich now. And like, I just don't want to have nothing to do with what I've known to be success and the greed and the exhaustion that comes with that, failure and the nonsense that comes with this. mediocrity and the long sound that comes with that. Just one long ping that comes with being in mediocrity, just making it check to check. I don't want to live none of those realities. I'm a creative that has a better way to handle his stress than to deal with any of y'all nonsense on any level. And just because you want to force me to do so does not mean I don't have a choice. That's the way I look at it. Just because y'all got these numbers and y'all trying to do all this stuff for your betterment of yourselves and betterment of your families doesn't mean I have to adhere to any of that. I could just choose the other way and just be cool with it. And so that's where I'm at. I kind of want to choose the other way because I don't want to do any of this. All the stuff it takes to get out of it, I don't want to do. All the stuff it takes to get out of it, I don't see the purpose when you're alone. Just don't see it. And people tell you to keep going, but they're not telling me that now. I don't hear nothing. I just hear myself. And so that's how I feel, man. I come up here and do my therapy session. I tell people the real. They don't censor me. I can't say this, can't say that. No, I can say what I want. But at the end of the day, this is the truth. When people going through what they're going through, they don't want to sit up and lie to you about it. It's going to be fine. I found myself lying to Karen yesterday about how I was feeling. She was giving me the whole boost. It's going well. And I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling positive. I'm like, no, I'm not. If this girl could see my face, she'd know none of that shit is working. It's not about whether or not the motivation would have worked. It's about what it is I'm motivated toward. What am I going? Where is this headed? I'm already ill. I'm already working against myself. And now I look around, I don't see anything good. I look around, I see support, but not the kind of support that I need and am used to. Conditioned for bull crap. It's like, man, I got too much working against me to even want to do this. To even want to do this, I got too much against me. So that's where I'm at, man. That's where I'm at. Everything I got to do is anxious. Everything I got to face is stressful. And every bit of stress is too much. You don't want to be like this, man. That's why I tell people, get help early. Don't find yourself in a situation where you are mulling over the exit of your own damn life because you didn't do things properly. Do things properly so you don't even have to get there. I learned a hard lesson. I love myself now. But shoot, when I started doing all that, I was not in that space. And I did a lot of damage to myself to put me in that space. Now I got a person I love here. I want to see do successful stuff, but it can't get too far. You can't go too far. It needs 6 and 7 miracles to fix this situation. I'm sitting there saying, even if I get a job, it's still going to put me out my house. And you know what's going to happen then? I'm going to have to find a way to move and keep that job. That's 8 hours somewhere else, Taco Bell or some shit. And then another, whatever it is, including the 8 hours of rest I'll probably need from working at damn Taco Bell. And then trying to find a way to live. Trying to find a way to get a place. Trying to find if anybody would give me that place. Money isn't the biggest problem. The biggest problem is everything that has to be done around the situation without having a vehicle. I need the time that the job's going to take from me in order to do all the stuff that needs to be done to surely effectively get out of here. It's the way I'm seeing it. So it's like, hey, but if I don't have the money, if let's say the family can't give me the money, now I need the money too. So it's like this hard shit just makes you want to jump off the roof. You don't want to do any of this. Like with this head that I have, when it was hard to even get out the house, when I convinced myself to stay in here for 6 months and you want me to turn up that way, nah, it's probably not going to happen. It's probably literally not going to take place. So that's where we at. That's exactly where we at. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to sit up here and pretend or lie or act like I'm feeling downer than I am. I'm not sad as one would think when I start talking like this. I don't feel that sad. I just feel like this is a matter of fact. And you're rationalizing, you see too many ways you can go. That's where we at. Maybe the sadness will come after I realize this is where I'm at. But that's where we at. Ain't looking too good, man. But, we stay praying. We stay putting out the best energy we can when we feel motivated to do so. But we also have to fix ourselves when we don't feel motivated to do so that we can get back to a place when we can, if that's where it's headed. So I wasn't going to lie to y'all and say I feel good. I don't feel good. I feel terrible. I do. I feel about as bad as I felt my entire life right now. But at the same time, it's like, I know I've put out the right energy. I know that I've been displaying the best excellence I could through my channel. The Laker videos and the various playlists and all this stuff. Art. I got a bunch of art I'm proud of now. Stuff's here, man. The works are here. The last couple of years, I wasn't just sitting here in fear. I was turning that into production. So hopefully it can do something for the people that I love, man. Hopefully it can do something for the people that I love. If I'm not going to promote it myself, the shit's here, man. That's how I feel. It's here. That's why I told my family. I don't think they took it seriously. I was like, I got works here. There's stuff here. You could sell You can promote. You could turn it into a house or something. That's all I was trying to do. I couldn't bring myself to do nothing else. So I left behind a bunch of stuff, you know? So that's what it was. That's what it is. I'm tired. I'm tired, man. I asked the Lord to take my life last night. I did. I said, man, get me out of here, bro. He didn't do it, unfortunately. I'm right here. But like, that's where I'm at, y'all. I'm not going to even play with you. I'm not going to pretend or act or nothing. Every way I see forward, without the exception of a massive miracle, looks like something that I'd rather not succeed in even surviving. I'd much rather go home and see my mother. And that's another thing, y'all, is I've been seeing more and more desire to be around the people that are no longer here anymore. I've been wanting to see my Aunt Cheryl. I've been wanting to see my mom, my grandmother, my father. I heard my father's voice last night as I was going to sleep. He said my name. Like, I don't really find that my motivation is here right now. It's just not. I want to fix this place and I want to leave this place. That's how I've always looked at life. I don't want to engage in the stuff that y'all do. I'm not socially wired for none of this shit. I don't care to. Never did. I just want to fix this place and go home to my mom, y'all. That's all I've ever wanted to do. Truthfully. Even if in the event I was going to get rich or whatever, if I wasn't going to have no family, I wasn't trying to do this for too long, man. It's not. When you get off to the type of start I did, 2 years old and stuff was trash, like really trash, if you view it the way I do, it's like, man, let's just get this over with. God, give me everything you want me to do. Align me with it. Let me overcome my stuff. And then please, just, if you're not going to improve the way that I view the world itself, and give me a bunch of stuff that would make that entire thing turn around, then let's keep it moving, B. Let's keep it moving. My name is BDF 44. Thank you all for watching. I'm out.